What's up, everybody? O2 and Shan, GVG Guy vs. Gal, science time. So it is me, Omar. I'm here with Ari. She's over there to the side. We are ready to conduct another science experiment. Of course, we do most of these experiments, if you can see me, for class. This is chemistry class, Ariana. All right, so we are going to do a science experiment. This is module number 2, atoms and molecules. So we're going to investigate to see if the conservation of mass is sustained through a chemical reaction. Does it sound like fun? Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so there's a couple of different products that we need. We usually order our products through a Becca or somebody else, some other schooling program. So here's what we're going to need. 100 milliliter beaker. Check. Got the beaker here. We need a 250 milliliter beaker. Check. Got that. All right, we need a watch glass that's going to cover the small beaker. That's your item here. You could use a small plate to cover it. That should be fine also. Pop that right there. And we need a teaspoon. Everybody has a teaspoon. Got that there. All right, we need some lye. Now lye you may have in your house if you have a drain opening cleaner, but you want the 100% lye, so we had to order some online. So you have the 100% household lye, bam, right there. So that's gonna help you get the clogs out. It's gonna help us in our experiment. What else do we need? We need some white vinegar, some regular store brand white vinegar. Let's see what else. We need some wonderful purple cabbage. So we'll take this out in a second. But you need several leaves of white, ooh, disgusting cabbage. We've had this for a while. So we'll it smells disgusting. We'll use this white cabbage, or purple cabbage. Some water. We have our pot for boiling over there. We'll get to that, the measuring cup, stove. Your mass scale, because you want to, of course, measure your mass to see if it kept its weight. So we'll get to that little mass. Oops, little mass scale there. Of course, that is supposed to happen, so we're good. And stirring rod, you can use a spoon to stir, no big deal there. Safety goggles, check. And gloves. All right, so now that you see what we're doing, we are gonna get to it. Are you ready, Ar? Mm-hmm. All right, so those are your gloves. These are my gloves. We'll pop them on. You're gonna need them more than me, but just in case. All right, so I'm gonna read off to R. I'm actually gonna be the cameraman and she's gonna do all this. So let me pop you off. All right, here we go. You got them on? No. All right, doesn't have her gloves on yet. All right, first step. Step 1, add 2 cups of water to the pot. All right, so R's going over here. Huh? I will find out. 2 cups of water. All right, Ari's getting our water. I'm gonna slide over here so you can see her. And all of our supplies on our table here. Trying to stay as clean as possible. Oh, Yoshi wants to get involved. All right, so 2 cups of water going into the pot. That was 2 cups? Mm-hmm. All right, what's the next step? Let's see. Next step, place the pot on the stove and turn on the burner. Let the water boil. Oops, I skipped. Place the cabbage leaves into the water. All right, hold on. Let me see how many cabbage leaves. Ari wants me to touch the nasty cabbage. Several leaves of red cabbage. Okay, so if you could hold this. And I will grab some paper towels. Handy dandy paper towels. Yeah, I'll just do it right here. I'll put my gloves on since the cabbage is stinky and rotten now. All right, ooh, whew. If we'd have waited too much longer, this would have been disgusting. All right, so we need several leaves. Well, you know, if we take the top layer off, probably have a decent looking layer. All right, so we got several leaves is what we need. You want to taste it? No? Think that fungus might do something to your stomach? Yeah. Might be a problem. All right, so we'll get this. Okay. How many you think? Said several. Several is normally what, 4 or 5? something like that, okay. All right, so we almost have enough, and then I'll throw away the excess. That's a nasty one. All right, so here we go. Much, much better. All right. Get some of this. It gets harder as you go down. Of course, you know, cabbage, you have to soak for a while to make it edible. Even though it's always edible, but. All right, I think that's good. Think so? Mm-hmm. All right. You can take these off and take that back from view. All right, so the next step, I think, is you're gonna boil this bad boy. Uh-oh. Oh, didn't want to touch it, now you had to. All right, so let's see. Let's make sure we're on the next step. So place the pot on the stove, or place the cabbage in the water. Cabbage in the water. Okay. And now you are going to place the pot on the stove and turn on the burner. Let it boil for 5 minutes. All right, let's turn it on and boil. We gotta get it going on high. All right, so we're just gonna sit here and let this boil. So we'll let that boil as we go into our next step, which is what are? While you're waiting for the water to boil, use the scale to measure the mass of your beaker and record it in the data table. The mass of your beaker. We are talking about because we have 2 beakers, don't we? Let's see if it tells us the 100 milliliter or the 250 milliliter. It does not say. Oh, Ari might know. We can go with the 100 and always switch. Switcheroo, my name is Winnie the Pooh. Let's go with the, well, they're showing the 250 here, right? Let's go with 250. Maybe. Let's see, if we read further down, carefully pour about 50 milliliters of the solution in the pot to the 250 milliliter. Once the solution is cool enough, comfortably pick up the beaker in your hand, pour about 10 milliliters into the, let's go with the 250. All right, so while we're waiting, we're gonna measure that. So what are you looking at? What do you think that is, R?
Something.
Grams. So the big numbers are your grams on the outside, and then the inside you have your ounces. So it's about what? 130 or 40 grams. I think about 130 grams. Something around there. The middle one would be 125, so I would say about 130 grams.
Okay.
All right, so we gotta record that bad boy. Zoom back out, zoom. All right, what's the next step? Whoa, that didn't sound cool. All right, so we're gonna add approximately 60 milliliters of vinegar to the beaker. All right, so go ahead and take that out of there. You're gonna put 60 milliliters. Doesn't have to be exact, anywhere from 50 to 60. Okay? All right, so you see the mark? So right above that 50 liner. A little bit more. Okay. All right, so now it says put the gloves on. Measure 1 teaspoon of lye and put it on the watch glass. You can take off the gloves, but whenever you're touching the lye, you need to have your gloves on. All right, so lye, kids, it's very dangerous. Always want to have gloves on. So you're going to measure out 1 teaspoon and put it on the watch glass. And the watch glass is this little guy, right? All right, so you're gonna put 1 teaspoon on there. Very careful with that. There you go. Let's get you a teaspoon. Yeah, be careful with that smell. That's why it has to be in a very, very good ventilated area when you're messing with lye. All right, be careful. Can you get it out? Yep, do it right over the watch glass. And pour that on there. All right, very cool. All right, so put that top back on. Put that in the sink. Yeah, you can put it in the sink. Make sure we hand wash that. All right, tap on your lye. And the next step. Now, once the water in the pot has boiled for 5 minutes, you can take your gloves off. We'll clean that up. Let's move that to the side. All right, so if it's been boiling for 5 minutes, we're gonna carefully pour about 50 milliliters of the solution in the pot to the 250 hold on. So here's the question. We just put vinegar in that beaker, right? So let's read a little bit further down. Once the solution is cool enough, you can comfortably pick up the beaker in your hand, pour out about 10 milliliters of the solution into the vinegar in the beaker. Okay, so cool. So we'll slide back around. I was reading the book to see if we had the vinegar in the correct beaker, and it looks like we do. A little bit more light. Let's see. So we got a little rapid boil going here, right? So that's going to soften up that cabbage, and it should give the water a slight purple look. So that's going to boil for another probably 2 or 3 minutes, right? So what do you think is going to happen? Do you think that the mass will increase or decrease? You don't know. You don't know the answer. It's a hypothesis. What is your hypothesis? Decrease. Increase. I guess I gotta know what I'm comparing it to, because of course it's gonna increase if you put liquid into the beaker. So if we're comparing it to water, we'll find out. It looks like the cabbage is starting to shrink, kind of shrivel and shrink down, you know? Very cool. You like that boiling sound? Boil that dust speck. Do you know what show that was from? Horton, here's a Who. If you heard a Who, would you do anything? You freak out? Oh my. Alright, so it's boiling. Boily, boily, boily. Boiling. Do you like cabbage? You think so? Cabbage is good. Put a little vinegar on it, some pepper. Eat it with some little bacon pieces. It's always tasty. I'll have to stay away from that type of food right now. Think it's been 5 minutes?
No.
Not yet? How many more minutes? 3 more?
It just started boiling.
Alright. I think this is probably the longest part, just waiting for this, and then from here we're just gonna start pouring and measuring. Pouring and measuring. This is very cool. I want to touch it, but I shouldn't. 2:55. That means we have 1 more minute. Dun, 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 dun. What has been your favorite experiment so far? Catching up on all of them. What about from last year? Whoa, my hand was there. Woo. Can't remember. You like chemistry a lot? Is it cool? Science, weird science. It's an old show. Alright guys, it is 2:54 and pretty sure in 20 seconds it'll be 2:55. 2:55. You ready? Alright, so go ahead and turn the stove off. Alright, so we're going to be using that solution. Would you rather carry that solution over with us or bring the beaker over here? Okay. Alright, let's go over here. You can grab one of those. That's a great idea. So grab a, a glove, a mitt. We'll pop it over here because you are going to allow it to cool for a few minutes. So we'll let that cool off a little bit. Once it cools, we're going to pour 50 milliliters of the solution in the pot into the 250 milliliter beaker. If some cabbage gets into the beaker or leaves gets into the beaker, that is fine. Alright, so you have to find a way to measure 50 milliliters. So we'll probably want to pour it into the small beaker, right? First. No? No, you only need 50 milliliters from the pot to pour into the beaker. But you'll probably want to pour it in there so you don't pour too much and then pour it in there. And then you're going to allow that to cool. And then we'll keep it going. All right, so we're going to let this cool. We're going to pick back up in a second. And we are back. All right, so we're going to take our solution that has cooled off. Still steamy, but it's cooled off. We're going to pour 50 milliliters into the measuring cup and then into the beaker, 250 milliliter beaker that has the vinegar in it. So you ready? So you know where the 50's at? Yeah. The very bottom? Okay. There it goes. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that was too much.
Was it too much?
Yep.
All right, it's okay. We got napkins. You can just pour some back in there.
Oh, actually, is that good?
All right, it worked out perfect, yeah. All right, so we're gonna pour that into our vinegar. Whoa. It went from purple to what? We say it's pink or red? So very cool, hot pink, red. All right, so what's the next step? So we gotta allow that solution to cool. Once it's cool enough to comfortably pick up the beaker, in your hand, pour about 10 milliliters. So we're gonna pour 10 milliliters of that into the 100 milliliter beaker. The vinegar in the beaker should turn pink. I think it's supposed to be in it. All right, so we did that a little backwards, but hey, it still worked. This is due to the chemicals that come from the cabbage leaves. The chemicals, which are called oceanarchy. So the chemicals that left the cabbage were called anthocyanins. And they left and they turned it pink. All right, so we're gonna place the stirring rod in the beaker so that it stands in the beaker. Place the watch glass on top of the beaker. All right, so we're gonna have to pour this into the 100 milliliter glass because we're gonna have to put the Yoshi. Yeah, go ahead and pour that into there. Sorry guys, we did a little backwards. It's a little confusing. And then you're going to put the... So this is very interesting. It says, place the stirring rod in the beaker so it stands in the beaker. Place the watch glass on top of the beaker so it covers the beaker, but they told us to put the lye. So what are we supposed to be doing with this lye? Confused. I'm gonna grab a napkin for that.
There's a picture.
Oh, there's the picture. Duh. So we're just putting the lye and the watch glass, which is there, on top of the beaker with the vinegar solution. Come here, Yoshi. Okay, so here's what you're gonna do. Are you ready? You ready, everybody? We're back on track. You're gonna take the watch glass with the lye and place it on top of the beaker. Okay, yep, you're gonna stick that in there. So that's supposed to be on there, just leaning. And then you're gonna take your I forgot what it's called, your lye and your watch glass, and you're gonna place it on top, and then we're gonna measure it. I'm gonna measure the whole assembly. All right, so of course, guys and gals, this is the part you need to be very careful on. Make sure that's steady. Now you're gonna place all of that into the measuring. And then after we measure this, we're gonna dump the lye into the vinegar, stir it. Not gonna lift the stirring rod out of the solution. No. Yeah, don't pour it in there yet. Yeah, oh yeah, there you go. You got it. I like these experiments because of the colors. Uh-oh, already having some complications here. All right, so then we put the top on. I'm gonna be very careful here so it doesn't spill. All right, so we're gonna measure that. Let's see what it's coming out to be. Let's turn in here for everybody. All right, what you showing? About 210. Yeah. All right, so that's 210 grams. I'm gonna record that into our recordy section. Yeah, she doesn't like these science experiments. Oh. All right. We'll write our observations in the end. All right, so after we've measured, now you're gonna dump the lye into the vinegar. And you're gonna, well, you can do it while it's on there, and we're gonna stir it. So don't take out the stir. So we're gonna record in the observations. Let me get in here. You know what? Are we gonna measure this too? Let's see, hold on. So how about we take it off so we can see it? If we need to put it back in, we will. But let's get a better picture of it. All right. So you're gonna make sure we're right. Dump the lye in the vinegar and you're gonna stir it. All right, let me see. Oh. Whoa. All right.
Can I touch it with a glove?
Huh?
Can I touch it with a glove?
Touch what? The lye? Sure. Very cool. Look at that color. That is pretty cool. It's like orange on the bottom and purple on the top. I like that. Alright. Alright, so now you're not going to take the stick out. Do not take the stick out and keep mixing. See what happens. Whoa, look at that. Keep on mixing. Look at that. It went from pink, orange to green to yellow. How cool is that? Now it turned yellow. That was absolutely fantastic. That was so cool. So it says, does it stink? Yeah, it's a strong smell. Says, notice also that most of the lye seems to have disappeared. Of course, it didn't really disappear. It simply reacted with the vinegar. Keep on mixing. It says, rest the stirring rod against the side of the beaker and place the watch glass back on the top of the beaker. Ooh, that's strong. So the beaker is noticeably warmer when you put it on the scale. So heat is released, that's why it's warmer. All right, so we're going to measure this once again.
Oh, it's hot.
Yeah, it's hot, all right. So the heat, isn't that funny? All right, so just about the same weight, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so no change in weight. So the heat, you feel the heat. Hold on, keep those gloves on. Okay. Huh? It's okay, leave those on. And let's see. That's it. All right, so before we wash up, of course, make sure you really clean up because as you see, Ari has lye on the glove. You can always wash the glove off. But the weight did not change in regards to the grams, right? But what changed was the actual heat. So it got hotter, right? Even though we didn't put it back on the stove. And also the color. So very, very cool. The color changed. The grams, the weight didn't change, but the vinegar did react with the compound that was put in there, which was the lye. And I thought it was a pretty cool experiment. What do you think?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Very cool. All right, guys. So that is experiment number 1 today. O2 and Shan, GVG, Guy vs. Gal, Ari, Omar. Peace out. We'll see you next time.